Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a point in your life when you realize that silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. You don't need to announce every move, every plan, every prayer, because when you are truly focused, you understand that noise is distraction and vision is protection. See, the problem with most people is they want to be seen before they are ready. They want the applause before they've done the work. Real growth happens in the shadows. Real transformation happens when nobody's clapping, nobody's watching, and nobody's praising. You have to learn how to stay low-key, because when you're low-key, you're building without pressure. You're developing in private what will eventually speak in public. The seed doesn't need attention. It just needs soil, silence, and time. When the roots go deep enough, the fruit will appear all by itself. Stay focused. Don't let the noise of the world pull you out of alignment. While they're scrolling, you're studying. While they're talking, you're training. While they're distracted, you're developing. Because focus turns potential into power. And when you focus, even the smallest steps start creating massive results. You see, the greatest victories don't come from competition. They come from concentration. When you know what God put inside you, you don't chase validation, you chase destiny. You're not trying to impress people, you're trying to impact purpose. And when you do that, when you stay low-key, when you stay focused, you stay winning. Not because you shouted about it, not because you posted about it, but because you lived it. Quiet consistency will outlast loud confidence every single time. The win isn't in the spotlight, it's in the strategy. The win isn't in the noise, it's in the discipline. When you stop seeking attention and start seeking alignment, you begin to operate on a higher frequency. You don't need to prove anything. Your peace becomes your proof. Your results become your voice, and your life becomes your message. So in this season, don't broadcast your battles. Don't tweet your trials. Don't announce your next move. Let them see it when it's finished. Because when you stay low-key, you stay untouchable. When you stay focused, you stay unshakable. And when you stay winning, you stay unstoppable. There's a power in silence that most people overlook. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, where everyone is rushing to post to prove, to be seen, there's something sacred about keeping quiet. Silence isn't weakness, it's warfare. It's how the wise operate while the foolish announce. It's how builders build, warriors prepare, and dreamers develop. You see, silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of strength. When you learn how to master silence, you stop reacting to everything that's thrown your way. You stop letting distractions dictate your direction. You begin to conserve your energy for what truly matters. Because every word you speak is a seed. Every conversation you entertain is either feeding your purpose or draining your power. When you choose silence, you're choosing strategy. You're choosing to step back, observe, and move with precision. People who operate in silence understand that not everything needs to be explained, and not every battle deserves a response. Sometimes the best answer is none at all. Because silence confuses the enemy. It makes people wonder what you're planning, what you're building, what's next. And that's the beauty of it. The less they know, the less they can interfere. There are seasons in life when God will hide you. Seasons where you're not being ignored, you're being prepared. And if you talk too soon, if you share too much, you can ruin what's still forming. Some blessings are fragile. They need time to grow roots before they can handle exposure. When you stay silent, you're giving your dreams time to mature. You're protecting your process from premature judgment and outside influence. The seed grows in the soil, not in the spotlight, and the soil is silent. Darkness that surrounds it isn't punishment, it's protection. The silence that surrounds you is not rejection, it's redirection. While others may think nothing is happening, something powerful is taking place beneath the surface. Growth doesn't make noise. Progress doesn't always post updates. Purpose doesn't beg for attention. There's wisdom in withholding. The loudest person in the room often has the least control. But the quiet one, the one who listens, observes, moves carefully, is the one who sees the full picture. They aren't desperate for attention because they understand that real elevation doesn't need validation. They know that silence isn't hiding, it's positioning. Silence allows you to hear what noise tries to cover. It allows you to discern what's real from what's fake. You stop speaking so much, you start hearing more clearly the whispers of intuition, the quiet nudge of guidance, the subtle warning of danger. Some of the best decisions you'll ever make will come from a moment of stillness. When you stay silent, you also become unpredictable. People can't manipulate what they don't understand. They can't sabotage what they don't know. They can't attack what hasn't been revealed. That's why the most powerful moves are often made in silence. You don't tell them what you're about to do. You just do it. You don't explain your growth. You let your results speak for themselves. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history were born in quiet places. Moses went to the mountain alone. Jesus withdrew to pray in silence. Every visionary, every leader, every creator needs solitude. Because silence gives birth to clarity. It allows the mind to settle, the spirit to breathe, and the vision to unfold without interruption. We live in a culture that worships exposure. Everyone wants to show off what they're doing, where they're going, what they have. But the truth is, exposure without establishment is destruction. If you reveal too much before you're rooted, the storm will take you out. Silence gives you the time to strengthen your foundation so that when the light shines on you, you don't crumble under its heat. Your silence can be your shield. It can protect your ideas from imitation and your heart from contamination. There's no need to explain your every move or defend your every choice. Let time tell your story. Let your consistency become your proof. Because silence isn't about avoiding people. It's about avoiding distractions. It's about keeping your peace intact while you pursue your purpose. When you learn to embrace silence, you stop needing applause. You stop needing to prove your worth. You stop giving your energy to arguments that lead nowhere. You begin to understand that the most powerful statements are made without words. The most impactful lessons are taught through example. The most undeniable victories are achieved quietly. There's a reason lions don't roar before they hunt. They move silently, strategically, patiently, until it's time to strike. They don't need to announce what they're capable of. They just show it when the moment comes. That's how you must move. Let your preparation stay private and your performance make the noise. Sometimes silence is your way of surrendering the need for control. You don't have to respond to every misunderstanding. You don't have to prove your innocence to people who have already decided to misjudge you. The truth doesn't need defense, it needs endurance. When you remain silent, you show that you trust your truth more than their talk. People may think you're distant, detached, or uninterested. Let them. You're not being cold, you're being concentrated. You're not ignoring them. You're investing in yourself. Every minute you spend explaining is a minute you could have spent executing. And silence is execution's best friend. Because when your focus is internal, your external results become undeniable. There will come a time when everything you've been quietly working on will speak for itself. The same people who doubted you will have no choice but to recognize the growth, the elevation, the transformation. But by then, you won't even need to say, I told you so. Because your life will be the loudest proof. So don't let your silence be mistaken for inactivity. Don't let their noise push you out of your peace. Keep building, keep becoming, keep believing. The world may not see it now, but when the time is right, what's been hidden will be revealed, and what's been growing will bear fruit. Stay silent, not because you're afraid, but because you're focused. Stay silent, not because you're uncertain, but because you're strategic. The next time someone asks why you're so quiet, just smile and say, because I'm building something I don't need to explain. Because silence is not the absence of movement, it's the presence of momentum. Silence is not your weakness, it's your weapon. And when you understand that, you stop talking about the next level. You start walking into it. There's a dangerous hunger in today's world, a hunger for attention. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be known. Everyone wants to appear successful. But appearance without foundation is emptiness. You can't build a legacy on likes. You can't grow your purpose through performance because at the end of the day, it's not the show that sustains you. It's the structure. That structure is built by one thing. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, showing up when no one is watching. It's keeping your promise to yourself when motivation disappears. Discipline doesn't need an audience. It just needs consistency. You see, display is easy. Display is glamorous. Display feels good in the moment. But display fades fast when discipline is missing. Because it's not how loud you start, it's how long you last. There's no endurance in image. There's no strength in showing off. The real power comes from the quiet grind, the unseen effort, the invisible routine that builds something real while others are performing something fake. Discipline is the difference between wishing and winning. People wish for change, but the discipline will work for it. People talk about goals, the discipline move toward them daily. The world doesn't reward your dreams, it rewards your discipline. Dreams inspire you, discipline transforms you. When you live by discipline, you learn how to manage your emotions, your habits, and your time. You stop being ruled by impulse and start being guided by intention. You understand that success is not built on feelings, it's built on focus. Feelings are fleeting, but discipline is a decision. It's a promise that says, I will not let my comfort control my calling. Most people fall in love with the idea of success, but despise the process of it. They want the display, the recognition, the praise, the spotlight, but they avoid the discipline that produces it. They want the outcome, not the obedience. They crave the crown, but not the cross. But true greatness requires sacrifice. It demands self-control. Asks you to keep going when the applause stops and when the results seem invisible. Discipline teaches you patience. It teaches you to delay gratification, to trust time and to respect the process, because sometimes you'll be doing everything right and still not see results. Yet that's when discipline proves its worth. Discipline keeps you consistent when results are delayed. It keeps you grounded when you're tempted to quit. It keeps you faithful when progress feels slow. The truth is, discipline doesn't look attractive. It doesn't feel glamorous. It's early mornings, late nights, tired eyes, and silent sacrifices. It's saying no to distractions, no to shortcuts, no to comfort zones. Discipline is messy, unfiltered, and often unnoticed. But that's where strength is built. That's where character is formed. Because the same heat that melts wax hardens clay. Discipline determines what you become under pressure. When you live for display, you become addicted to validation. You start working instead of working on purpose. You compare yourself to others. You measure your worth by reactions. And you trade long-term growth for short-term applause. But when you live with discipline, you're no longer moved by who's watching. You're moved by what you're building. You stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. The disciplined don't need to post proof of their grind. They are the proof. Their results speak when their words stay silent. Their consistency builds credibility that no display can imitate, because what you practice in private will always manifest in public. The fruit always reveals the root. Discipline also brings peace. When you are disciplined, your mind is stable. You're not scattered. You're not reacting to every emotion or situation. You know who you are, you know where you're going, and you know what it takes to get there. That inner order becomes your outer strength. Discipline separates the talkers from the doers. Everyone can dream, but few can commit. Everyone can start, few can stay. And it's not because they're incapable. It's because they chose display over discipline. They wanted the comfort of looking successful instead of the challenge of becoming successful. But here's the truth. The disciplined will always outlast the dramatic. There will be times when nobody claps, nobody notices, and nobody says thank you. That's when you discover if you're truly disciplined. Can you still show up when it's silent? Can you still push through when it's painful? Can you still grind when it's not glamorous? That's where destiny is developed. Discipline builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you strengthen your integrity. You start believing in your own ability to follow through. And that's when your confidence becomes unshakable, not because of what you display, but because of what you've proven in private. People often mistake display for success, but real success is silent. It's internal. It's the peace of knowing you're doing what you're supposed to do, even when no one acknowledges it. It's the satisfaction of progress that no one else can see. It's the quiet confidence that comes from discipline. There's also humility in discipline. You learn to respect the process, to honor the small steps, to embrace the lessons that failure teaches. You stop demanding quick results because you understand that anything that lasts must first be built slowly. Display wants speed, discipline values endurance. Display wants to be seen now, discipline wants to be strong later. Sometimes you'll watch others flaunt their success, their possessions, their status, and you'll feel behind. But remember this, discipline may delay your spotlight, but it will secure your stability. Display shines fast, but fades faster. Discipline grows slow, but lasts forever. Every champion you admire didn't rise because of display, they rose because of discipline. Behind every highlight reel is a hidden routine. Behind every victory is 1,000 invisible choices to stay committed when quitting seemed easier. The stage you see today was built by discipline yesterday. So stop chasing appearance. Stop feeding your ego with attention that doesn't add value. Your purpose is too precious to be cheapened by display. Build something real. Build something solid. Build something that doesn't depend on applause to survive. You don't have to announce your grind. You don't have to prove your worth. Let your consistency do the talking. Let your results make the noise. Because when you prioritize discipline over display, you're no longer trying to impress the crowd. You're trying to honor your calling. Discipline is the bridge between potential and power. It's the quiet engine that keeps you moving when everyone else stops. It's not glamorous, but it's glorious. Because one day, the world will see the results and call it luck, but you'll know it was discipline all along. So keep training when they're sleeping. Keep studying when they're scrolling. Keep improving when they're performing, because your time will come, and when it does, you won't need to show off. You'll just to show up prepared, refined, and ready. Stay faithful to the process. Stay grounded in the grind. Stay focused on your foundation, because when you choose discipline over display, you don't just look successful, you become unstoppable. A power that awakens when you learn how to focus. A quiet, steady, unstoppable force that begins to move through your life the moment you stop scattering your energy and start channeling it. Focus isn't just about paying attention. It's about direction. It's about deciding where your energy goes and refusing to waste it on anything that doesn't align with your purpose. Because where focus goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, results grow. Most people don't lack talent, they lack focus. They start 100 things and finish none. They chase every new idea, every new trend, every new distraction, and then wonder why they never move forward. But the truth is, you can't conquer what you're not consistent with. You can't master what you keep abandoning. Focus is what transforms effort into excellence. When you are focused, you create force. Think about it. Light that's scattered is gentle. But when it's focused into a laser, it can cut through steel. Water that's spread wide just makes ripples, but when it's concentrated, it carves canyons through stone. That's the difference between people who wish and people who win. The winners have learned how to narrow their attention until their intention becomes unstoppable. Focus is your power. It's your weapon. It's your advantage in a distracted world. We live in a generation addicted to noise, scrolling endlessly, comparing constantly, chasing validation from screens that don't care. But when you turn off the noise and tune into your calling, something shifts. You begin to hear the still, small voice of direction that's been waiting for your attention. You start recognizing what's meant for you and what's meant to leave you. Focus gives you clarity. It filters out the unnecessary so you can concentrate on the essential. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying no to anything that doesn't serve your vision. Because every yes to distraction is a no to destiny. Every time you let something small steal your attention, you delay something great that was waiting to manifest. The disciplined mind doesn't chase, it chooses. It doesn't move with emotion, it moves with intention. Focus teaches you to be selective with your energy. You realize not every conversation deserves a response, not every argument deserves engagement, not every opportunity deserves your time, because not everything good is meant for you. Some things exist just to test your focus. When you stay focused, you start to feel a new kind of strength rising inside you. It's the strength that comes from alignment. You're no longer pulled in 10 directions. You're walking firmly in one, and that direction begins to generate momentum. Momentum becomes movement. Movement becomes mastery, and mastery becomes manifestation. That's how focus creates force. It builds power through alignment and consistency. Enemy of progress isn't failure, it's distraction. You can recover from a mistake, but you can't recover wasted time. Every time you lose focus, you lose force. You lose the ability to push your potential forward. That's why focus requires protection. You must guard it like treasure, because it is. When you're focused, you're dangerous. Not in a harmful way, but in a purposeful one. You become immune to gossip, immune to doubt, immune to delay. You stop reacting to everything around you because your eyes are locked on where you're going. And when your mind is set on your mission, nothing can shake you. Focus takes discipline. It's not easy to shut out the world when everyone is competing for your attention. It takes strength to stay consistent when distractions feel exciting and discipline feels dull. Yet, every time you choose focus over noise, you strengthen your future. You teach your mind that it belongs to your purpose, not your impulses. There will be times when you'll be tempted to quit. Times when progress feels invisible, when effort feels endless, and when focus feels lonely. But that's when you have to remind yourself, force takes time to build. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it's preparation. Every small act of focus compounds into a wave of force that eventually becomes unstoppable. Stay locked in on what matters. You don't need to do everything. You need to do the right things consistently. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be exactly where your purpose needs you. Focus doesn't make you miss out. It helps you master up. Because when you're focused, you're not scattered, you're strategic. Look at nature. The river doesn't flow in every direction. It chooses a path and stays with it, cutting through rock over time. The wind doesn't move everything equally. It directs its strength and moves what's light enough to carry. In the same way, your focus determines what you can move in your life. Scatter your attention, you weaken your power. Direct it, and you create unstoppable force. Sometimes you must go quiet to stay focused. You can't be available for everything and still be effective at something. Silence is a tool of focus. It separates you from distractions and aligns you with your direction. While others are talking about what they're going to do, you're actually doing it. While they're seeking validation, you're building foundation. That's how focus separates you from the crowd. Focus also creates confidence. When you concentrate on your craft, you begin to master it, and mastery brings certainty. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too committed to improving yourself. You stop seeking competition because you realize your only rival is the person you were yesterday. Focus transforms chaos into clarity. It gives order to your purpose and peace to your process. It reminds you that you don't have to do more. You just have to do what matters most. That's where your real strength lies, not in being everywhere, but in being fully present where you are. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They learned to focus. They weren't necessarily the most gifted, but they were the most grounded. They knew how to keep their eyes on the mission while others got distracted by the moment. Because focus isn't about intelligence, it's about intention. It's not about what you know, it's about what you apply. You can have all the potential in the world, but without focus, it's scattered energy. Focus channels that energy and impact. It takes you from dreaming to doing, from wishing to winning, from potential to power. It gives you the strength to finish what you started and the clarity to know what's worth starting in the first place. Focus also attracts opportunities. When you're aligned with your purpose, the right doors begin to open. People can feel your energy. They can sense your direction. You become magnetic to what matches your mission because the universe doesn't respond to confusion. It responds to clarity. You must protect your focus like it's sacred. Don't let gossip, fear, or comparison steal it. Don't trade your attention for cheap entertainment. Every moment you give away to distraction is a moment stolen from destiny. Learn to disconnect from what drains you and reconnect with what drives you. So in this season, let your focus be fierce. Let it silence the noise, refine your direction, and multiply your strength. You don't need a rush. You don't need to impress. You just need to align. Because once your focus is clear, your force is inevitable. Focus is not just about seeing, it's about seeing through. It's the vision to look beyond what's happening and stay connected to what's coming. And when you hold that kind of vision, no obstacle can break you, no distraction can stop you, and no delay can defeat you. A focused person is a powerful person. They don't need to shout, they move with quiet confidence. They don't need to chase, they attract. They don't need to prove, they produce. So today, cut the noise, clear your mind, and lock in on your vision, because the moment you focus your energy, you unleash your power. In a world that never stops talking, where everyone is posting, probing, and performing, there's something sacred about silence backed by results. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to explain yourself to be understood. When your results speak, your words become unnecessary. Because success has a sound all its own, a sound that echoes louder than any opinion, louder than any doubt, louder than any noise the world can make. There comes a moment in life when you realize that talking about what you're going to do doesn't move you forward. Promises don't produce progress, performance does. You can have the best intentions, the biggest dreams, the loudest declarations, but there's no action. There's no advancement. Words might impress for a moment, but results impact for a lifetime. When you let results speak, you're saying, I don't have to prove myself anymore. You're saying I'm too busy becoming what I once had to explain. You stop needing validation because your evidence becomes your voice. You don't chase approval because your fruit speaks for your faithfulness. Too many people spend their lives trying to convince others that they're capable, anointed, ready, or deserving. They talk so much about where they're headed that they never actually arrive. But those who understand power know how to move in silence. They know that every word wasted on explanation is energy stolen from execution. They don't announce every step, they take it. They don't brag about the process, they build through it. You see, the loudest ones in the room are rarely the ones doing the work. Those who are truly working, truly grinding, truly building, don't have time to talk about it. They're too busy producing something real. They're focused on foundations, not followers. They're focused on consistency, not clout, because results will always expose the truth. Who's real, who's ready, and who's just performing for attention. When you let results speak, you stop arguing with critics. You stop defending your name against gossip. You stop wasting energy explaining what only time can reveal. Because time has a way of telling the truth. You don't have to clap back. Your consistency will clap for you. You don't have to prove them wrong. Your progress will do it silently. There's power in restraint. There's power in holding your peace while you work your plan. Because when you keep quiet and stay consistent, your results start doing the talking for you. And they speak a language that no one can argue with. You don't need to justify your growth, your change, purpose. Just walk it out. The results will make the announcement. Results are undeniable. People can doubt your words. They can question your motives. They can underestimate your ability, but they cannot deny your results. The harvest proves the seed was planted. The fruit proves the faith was real. You don't need to explain what you're becoming. Just let your transformation tell the story. Sometimes the most powerful move is to stop talking about your dreams and start living them. Stop talking about change and start embodying it. Stop trying to make people see what they're not meant to understand, because not everyone deserves access to your process. Some people only need to see the product. Your silence becomes strength when it's filled with purpose. When you stop giving attention to opinions, you start gaining traction in your assignment. When you stop explaining your path, you start accelerating your progress. Because every minute spent proving yourself is a minute taken from improving yourself. Let your focus be your defense. Let your work ethic be your explanation. Let your results speak your truth. People may doubt what you say, but they will always believe what you show. Because results don't lie. They reveal effort. They reflect discipline. They confirm authenticity. The most successful people you'll ever meet don't talk about how great they are. They demonstrate it. Their lives, their habits, their impact, it all speaks without words. Because they know talk fades, but results remain. Words can be forgotten. Results can't be erased. There's also humility in letting results speak. It means you trust the process enough not to broadcast it. Means you believe in your work enough to let time unveil it. You're not desperate for acknowledgement. You're devoted to alignment. You're not chasing applause, you're chasing purpose. And when you move like that, your results become your reputation. When you let results speak, you stop explaining your decisions. You don't have to justify why you walked away, why you changed directions, why you outgrew certain spaces. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Let them talk. Because eventually, your results will make sense of everything they misunderstood. Let your progress be your response. When they criticize, keep building. When they doubt, keep moving. When they mock, keep growing. Because silence and success make the strongest combination. One keeps your peace, and the other proves your power. There's something deeply spiritual about moving quietly and letting the outcome testify for you. It's a form of faith. It's saying, I don't have to convince anyone. My life will be the proof. It's believing that your diligence, your obedience, your discipline will manifest what your words could never achieve. Results speak louder than explanations because they show evidence of endurance. They show that you didn't quit even when nobody clapped. They show that you stayed consistent when no one believed. They show that you kept showing up even when it felt like nothing was working. And eventually, those same results will silence every doubt and every critic that ever questioned you. Let results speak, because talk is temporary, but truth is timeless. Anyone can make noise, but few can make progress. Anyone can start with words. Only the disciplined finish with proof. The world is full of talkers, but history only remembers the doors. So stop announcing your next move. Stop defending your growth. Stop proving your value. Just produce, just work, just build, just grow. Your time will come, and when it does, it won't need an introduction. The world will see it, feel it, and know it, because results don't whisper, they roar. Quiet ones, the focused ones, the disciplined ones, they always rise. Because while others are chasing recognition, they're chasing refinement. While others are posting progress, they're living it. While others are seeking attention, they're securing transformation. So stay quiet, stay grounded, stay consistent. Don't tell them what you're going to do, just do it. Don't brag about the plan, build the proof. Because when you let results speak, you never have to explain yourself again. The truth is, when your results start speaking, the same people who doubted you will start quoting you. The same ones who ignored you will try to align with you. That's why you never waste energy arguing with disbelief. Just keep producing evidence. Keep your head down and your standards high. Let your results carry your message. Let your excellence carry your influence. And let your growth carry your legacy. You don't have to speak loudly when your life speaks clearly, because in the end, results are the most powerful voice you can ever have. They silence critics, inspire believers, and prove that your silence was never weakness, it was strategy. So stop explaining, stop performing, stop proving. Just keep planning, keep preparing, and keep producing. Because when you let results speak, the noise fades and the truth stands tall. There comes a moment in your journey when you must decide what truly matters, the noise of the crowd or the calm of your spirit. Because in a world obsessed with attention, applause, and approval, peace has become the rarest form of wealth. People will trade their authenticity just to be accepted. They will lose themselves trying to please others. But there is no amount of likes, followers, fame that can replace the power of peace. Peace is not just a feeling, it's a foundation. It's the quiet assurance that you are right where you need to be, even when no one is clapping. It's the confidence that you don't need to perform to prove your worth. When you live for peace, you no longer need popularity to validate your value. You become content-centered and secure, not because the world approves, but because your soul does. Popularity is loud, it demands attention, thrives on being seen, noticed, and celebrated. But peace is gentle. It moves quietly. It doesn't need to be recognized to be real. Peace is the invisible strength that keeps you grounded when everything else is unstable. It's the inner calm that whispers, I don't have to be liked to be aligned. I don't have to be noticed to be necessary. The truth is, chasing popularity will drain you. It will have you changing who you are to fit who others expect you to be. It will keep you performing for people who don't even care about your purpose. You'll start to measure your worth by reactions instead of reality, by attention instead of alignment. And before long, you'll wake up exhausted, not because you're working too hard, but because you're pretending too much. Peace, on the other hand, restores you. It gives you rest in a restless world. It teaches you that you don't need to compete, compare, or conform. When you choose peace, you choose authenticity. You stop trying to fit in because you realize you were never meant to blend. You were meant to become. You stop chasing validation because you understand that real fulfillment doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being centered. Popularity is temporary. People will love you today and forget you tomorrow. They will celebrate you in one season and criticize you in the next. You can't build your identity on the opinions of unstable minds, because when you live for applause, you'll die by its absence. The same crowd that lifts you up can also tear you down. But peace is permanent. It doesn't depend on public opinion. It flows from personal integrity. When you choose peace over popularity, you make a decision to protect your spirit. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop proving your worth to those blind to your value. You learn to walk away from conversations that steal your calm, from people who drain your energy, and from environments that disrupt your balance. Because your peace is not up for negotiation. It's your protection. Peace will cost you some relationships. It will require separation from certain crowds. It will demand silence when you'd rather defend yourself. Peace you gain will always be greater than the popularity you lose. Peace is priceless. It's the proof that you've outgrown the need to be seen and chosen by everyone. Some people won't understand your silence. They'll think you've changed. And you've changed from needing attention to needing alignment. You've traded chaos for clarity. You've learned that not every invitation deserves your presence, not every opinion deserves your response, and not every opportunity is worth your energy. The most peaceful people are not the ones with the most followers. They're the ones who have mastered the art of letting go. Letting go of drama, letting go of ego, letting go of anything that interrupts their harmony. They've discovered that nothing external can compensate for what's missing internally. Peace gives you power because it positions you above pettiness. When you're at peace, you can't be provoked. When you're at peace, you're not moved by every comment, rumor, or criticism. You realize that every distraction doesn't deserve a reaction. You stay grounded, focused, and free. That's what real strength looks like. Choosing peace means you value presence over performance. You're not living to impress, you're living to express. You no longer crave crowds, you crave connection. You no longer need noise, you need stillness. You find beauty in simplicity and strength in solitude. Because peace doesn't mean everything around you is perfect. It means you've found stability within yourself even when everything around you is uncertain. Popularity teaches you to chase what's trending. Peace teaches you to cherish what's timeless. Popularity fades when attention shifts. Peace stays when the lights go out. Peace doesn't fluctuate with circumstances. It's rooted in who you are. It's knowing that you don't have to perform to have purpose. You don't have to impress anyone to be impactful. There will be moments when you'll feel overlooked or underestimated because you chose peace. But that's okay. Let them talk while you transform. Let them assume while you ascend. You don't need to prove your growth. The fruit will prove it for you. You don't need to broadcast your journey. Peace will make your presence powerful without a single word. It's better to be unknown and fulfilled than famous and fractured. It's better to be aligned in private than admired in public, but broken inside, because peace doesn't require a platform. It requires purpose. It doesn't demand an audience. It demands awareness. When you find that kind of peace, you stop being desperate for the world's attention because you already have heaven's approval. Peace will make you walk away from chaos without guilt. It will help you say to opportunities that don't feel right, even when they look right. It will make you comfortable being misunderstood because you'd rather be at peace than be popular. You'll realize that not everyone will understand your path, and that's perfectly fine. Because your journey isn't meant to be explained. It's meant to be experienced. Peace is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're walking in purpose. It's the deep satisfaction that no external validation can match. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's not flashy, but it's fulfilling. When you find it, guard it with everything you have, because peace is fragile. It's easily disturbed by distractions, drama, and deception. That's why you must protect it intentionally. Sometimes peace means deleting the conversation instead of continuing it. Sometimes peace means staying silent instead of defending yourself. Sometimes peace means walking alone instead of walking with the wrong people. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Because peace is not about winning every argument. It's about not needing to argue at all. So stop chasing popularity. Stop craving to be seen. Stop measuring your worth by how many people notice you. The number of eyes on you means nothing if the soul inside you isn't at rest. What good is it to be admired by the world but at war with yourself? What good is it to be celebrated publicly but suffering privately? Choose peace over popularity. Choose authenticity over applause. Choose purpose over performance, because peace will last long after the crowd is gone. When the lights dim, when the noise fades, when the attention shifts, peace will still be there holding you steady. You don't need to be popular to be powerful. You don't need to be seen to be successful. You just need to be at peace. Because when your heart is at peace, your decisions are clear, your direction is strong, and your destiny unfolds naturally. So stand firm in your calm, walk boldly in your stillness, and remember, popularity might get you noticed, but peace will keep you whole. There is a quiet kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself, strength that doesn't scream for attention, a victory that doesn't need a spotlight to shine. That's what it means to win without noise. Because true winners understand something most people don't, that the loudest voice in the room isn't always the strongest, and the most visible success isn't always the most valuable. You see, our world is obsessed with showing off. People don't just want to succeed anymore. They want everyone to see them succeed. They crave the likes, the comments, the validation. They announce every move before it's even made. But when you truly understand purpose, you learn that premature exposure can destroy powerful potential. You stop posting and start producing. You stop performing and start progressing. You stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. Winning without noise is not about hiding. It's about harnessing your energy. It's about keeping your focus sacred, your plans private, and your growth personal. Because when you make too much noise, you invite too many opinions, and opinions, if you're not careful, can dilute your direction. Some people will never support what they can't understand. So why waste your breath explaining what will only be proven through results? Silence is the strategy of those who are serious about destiny. It's not that they don't have something to say, it's that they understand timing. A seed doesn't announce its growth underground. It just breaks through the soil when the season is right. The same is true for you. You don't need to prove that you're growing. You just need to keep watering your potential until your breakthrough speaks for itself. When you win without noise, you develop patience. You learn that not every success needs to be broadcast. You stop rushing your process to impress people who aren't even paying attention. You start valuing peace over popularity, progress over performance, purpose over perception. The noise might get attention for a moment, but stillness builds power for a lifetime. There's a reason eagles fly alone. They don't move in flocks, and they don't flap wildly to prove they can soar. Their power is in their stillness. They glide on the wind, high above the chatter, unbothered by the noise below. That's what real strength looks like. Quiet confidence, steady movement, focused vision. You don't have to shout when your altitude already speaks for you. Winning without noise requires discipline, the discipline to resist the urge to prove yourself, the discipline to stay focused while others are distracted, the discipline to keep working when no one's clapping. Because success built in silence is success that lasts. The victories that echo the longest are the ones born out of stillness, not out of showmanship. People might overlook you while you're building. They might underestimate you because they can't see what's happening behind the scenes. Let them, because every step you take in silence is setting the stage for a season that will speak loudly on your behalf. When the time comes, your results will make the announcement for you. You won't have to say a word. Your growth will say it all. There's a power in the unseen process. The hours no one witnesses, the tears no one knows about. The nights when you're working while everyone else is sleeping. Those are the moments that separate those who make noise from those who make history, because the quiet grind produces the loudest glory. When you win without noise, you protect your progress. You protect it from jealousy, from negativity, from unnecessary interference. Not everyone deserves to know what you're working on. Not everyone is rooting for you. Some people are only curious so they can criticize. That's why you must move with discretion. Keep your plans private until they're powerful enough to stand on their own. You see, people can't predict your next move. They can't prevent your progress. Silence confuses your opposition. It frustrates those who expect you to perform, protects you from premature attacks, because some battles are avoided simply by staying quiet. The less they know, the less they can stop. Here's the truth. The noise doesn't add value to your victory. It only distracts from it. The more time you spend explaining, proving, defending yourself, the less energy you have left for executing. So stop trying to convince people of who you are. Just be who you are. Stop trying to make them understand your purpose. Just walk in it. Stop announcing what you're going to do. Just do it. Winning without noise is not about pride. It's about purpose. It's understanding that the greatest accomplishments don't need confirmation. They carry their enough and care and evidence. You don't have to tell anyone that you're winning when your peace is speaking. Your progress is visible. I challenge you to love it or life is moving forward. Quiet winners know that results are louder than recognition. They know that momentum is more valuable than mentions. They understand that while others are performing for attention, they're preparing for elevation. Because real growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows where consistency, humility, and patience meet. There's a reason why diamonds are formed underground. They endure pressure in silence. No one sees the process, but everyone recognizes the product. That's what your journey looks like when you choose to win without noise. You endure in private so you can shine in public. You go through the unseen shaping, the quiet refining, the hidden preparation. And when the time comes, you emerge unshakable, undeniable, unstoppable. But let me tell you, silence doesn't mean you're stagnant. It doesn't mean nothing's happening. Silence often means everything's happening. It's just happening beneath the surface. The roots are growing, the structure is forming, the strength is building. Don't let the lack of noise fool you. The miracle is still in motion. When you win without noise, you learn to value peace over praise. You find fulfillment in the doing, not in the displaying. You don't need an audience to validate your effort. You know that real satisfaction comes from obedience to your purpose, not from opinions about your progress. You find contentment in knowing that you're aligned with what you were born to do, and that is enough. Eventually, the same people who overlooked you will have to acknowledge what your silence built. The same ones who doubted your process will have to respect your progress. The same ones who mocked your patience will have to watch your manifestation. And when that moment comes, you won't even need to say, "Told you so," because your life will say it for you. Winning without noise teaches you humility. It teaches you to trust the process and respect the timing. It teaches you that success doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. It doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes with quiet breakthroughs that nobody saw coming. And that's okay, because your journey isn't meant to be loud, it's meant to be lasting. So keep moving in silence, keep grinding in grace, keep building what the world can't see yet, because every silent season is shaping a powerful outcome. Don't be discouraged if no one notices right now. They don't have to see it for it to be real. You don't need the spotlight when you carry the substance. When the dust settles and the noise fades, quiet ones will still be standing, because their strength wasn't in being heard, it was in being steady. Their victories weren't built on validation, they were built on vision.